Hi, my name's Annie, I draw and stuff, and if you're watching this video, then you read the title and you know what it's about. 3 years ago, on September 16th, 2015, I made one of the most impulsive but important decisions of my life. I decided that I was going to become a professional artist. Well, there's a little more to that. When I was 5, I was 100% sure that I was put on this world to make things. More specifically, I wanted to make art. My parents were so supportive, and from the day that I could hold a crayon, I was drawing. If I look through photos and videos from my early childhood, it's just me drawing over and over again. I stayed pretty consistent with drawing through elementary school, but as middle school approached, something important changed, and that was my mental health. I won't get too into it, but I am diagnosed with major depressive disorder. When I was 11, my symptoms began getting extreme. I was exhausted all the time, and I felt like I was just constantly in this survival mentality, and so my goals became more practical. And to me, art no longer seemed practical. Artists of all ages hear about this starving artist trope, and I was no exception. Over time, it gets to you, and that's why I stopped drawing.
Cheese!
Hi, sweetie.
I think I want to look on something on the camera. Don't sit down and I can see.
Okay.
What it looks like.
I was looking at a bunch of other career paths for a while, and I was planning on pursuing advertising. I also took an interest in filmmaking, which is something that my dad had studied in college and wholeheartedly supported me in. He helped me make a bunch of short films, and those are memories I'm really glad I got to have with him. I even got the chance to be a freelance video producer when I was 15. But the longer I did film, and especially once I was doing it as a job, the more I realized that my heart just wasn't in it. When I was 16, I was in my sophomore year of high school, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I never really liked high school, so I ended up joining this really amazing program that let you opt out of your junior and senior years and go directly to the local college. A few weeks before my first year of college, I stumbled across 2 videos that would have a big impact on me. The first was a video by my still all-time art hero, Michelle Lamb, called My Accepted CalArts Sketchbook. Up to this point, I had never thought about the animation industry or art as a job or even heard the name CalArts. But I'd been watching Michelle's videos since I was in the 5th grade, and watching someone that I admired so much get into this hyper-elite art school really resonated with me. And I was just hit with this overwhelming sense of, oh, this is what I want to be doing. And that day, September 16th, I drove down to Michael's, bought the cheapest sketchbook on the shelf, started drawing, and haven't stopped since. It blows my mind that it's already been 3 years since then, and it's even harder for me to believe how far I've come. Admittedly, that first year was really hard. It seemed like I had so much ground to cover because I felt like I had wasted those years I wasn't drawing. Of course, that wasn't true, but it was still hard to convince myself of at the time. Back then, I remember more than once having trouble sleeping and going to bed crying because I was so anxious that I had made the wrong decision for my future. I worried that I would never be good enough to make a living out of my art, but no matter what, I kept working. And every day I carried my sketchbook with me and I just drew everything constantly. I would be in the studios at my school long after they were supposed to close, and naturally I got to know the professors and faculty pretty well. Because of that, they ended up telling me about the art program, and that's how I ended up pursuing my degree in fine arts. That spring, a couple of things happened at once. I had been posting my art on Twitter and Tumblr for a few months, and one day I stumbled across a YouTube channel called Jaden Animations. Through Jaden Animations, I found a YouTube channel called The Odd Ones Out. I thought their videos were pretty funny and creative, and a few weeks later I was taking requests on Tumblr and someone asked that I draw Jaden and James, so I did. I posted my art on social media and they ended up following me back. They both messaged me some really encouraging things about my art, which was a huge boost of confidence. It meant a lot to me to hear positive feedback from two people who were doing so well when I felt like I had been struggling the past year. That boost of confidence was enough to give me the push that I needed to apply for a position in my college's publicity department. I had first noticed the position when I saw that some of the responsibilities included graphic design and video editing. And one application, interview, and portfolio review later, I actually managed to get the job. I spent 2 years at that job, and it was and always will be one of the most memorable and special experiences of my life. I got to meet so many unique and hardworking people who were so passionate about what they were doing. I got to use my art every day in an environment that challenged me and allowed me to grow as a person and a creator. I met some of the best friends, mentors, and just people that I've ever had the pleasure of being around, and I would not change a thing. This past spring, I graduated from my college with not 1, but 2 degrees in art. And I even got to design my college's commencement materials for the ceremony. And that brings us to now. I'm doing freelance art and children's book illustration for my job, which is something that I could never have imagined 3 years ago. I have developed as an artist so much because of so many wonderful and supportive people in my life, and because I worked like crazy. More than anything, I'm still learning, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for me.
Texas, and I let out all my demons. Swear I had the best intentions.